two possibilities. That inside the absolute value bar could be positive, or the inside the absolute value could be negative. If it's positive, the absolute value would do nothing. Okay? And if it's negative, then you would have to make it positive. So there's two options here. If I do it the same way as I did the last question, I would say this, if this is negative, this whole thing is negative, I would have to put a negative out in front to make it positive. But because I have just a single number on the other side, you could also do this. If the inside is negative, what's it have to equal? It has to equal -4. So in dealing with that make it positive idea, you could either put the negative in front of the whole thing, or you could just say, oh, the other side has to be negative. So you can choose which side you want to make negative. In this case, I think it's a lot easier if I do the second way and just make my 4 negative. Now, if I was solving this equation, it looks like the completing the square method for solving would be the easiest because the square is already completed. How do you solve something with a square where the square is already completed? Move everything over to one side. So I move my 4 over. And then I'm going to divide by -3. To get what I have squared all by itself. Okay? Then how do I get rid of the squared? I square root both sides, which means I'm going to need a plus or minus. Square root of 8 over 3 equals x minus 2. To get x by itself, I'd have to add 2 to both sides. Grade 11, are we allowed to have square roots on the bottom? This is like perfect review from all your units. It also reviews your radicals unit. You can't have square roots on the bottom, so what do? We rationalize the denominator by multiplying by square root of 3 on top and square root of 3 on the bottom. So I would get x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 24 over 3. Can I leave my answer like this? No. It has adding and subtracting. We need a single fraction. So this 2 is 2 over 1. I need a common denominator, so I can multiply this by 3 over 3, and then I get 6 plus or minus the square root of 24 over 3. Am I done? No. My square root has to be simplified. Square root of 24 is, we review like 4 units in one in this one question. 6 plus or minus, this is 4 times 6, which is square root of 4 is 2. 2 root 6 divided by 3. I could leave it like this, because I notice there's no common factor that divides, or I could factor out a 2 on the top. But nothing simplifies. So this, either of those would be good. Whew. There's a lot of algebra on that side. And that's just reviewing your previous unit. So you'll see that all of that studying you did in the previous units is really important because it keeps coming back. Second one. This one's going to work out a lot easier for us because when I get the squared by itself, so I move the 4 over, I get 0 equals -3, x minus 2 squared. Divide both sides by -3. I get 0 equals x minus 2 squared. When you square root both sides, I'm going to write plus or minus 0, but do you realize that the plus or minus doesn't matter there when you square root 0? I'm moving the x over. X is equal to 2. All of these answers are going to be good because I don't have to check because this side is a 4. I know that that's never going to be negative. It's already positive, and I don't have to worry about it. Yes?
Did you write plus or minus 0?
No, for 0, you'd be fine. I just did it say it's a good habit when you square root both sides to think plus or minus. Okay? In my opinion, because it was already, the square was already completed, this is the best way to solve this. However, if you wanted to, I'm going to go, I moved my like terms together, from here. Let me just show you that you could have done this. You could have multiplied out x minus 2 squared, x squared minus 4x plus 4. Distributed your negative 3. And you get a quadratic equation, which you could make one side equal to 0. And because the x squared is negative, I would actually move everything to the left-hand side. So minus 12x. And if I added 12 plus 4, it doesn't factor, so you would have to use a quadratic formula. Negative b would be 12 plus or minus b squared, 144, minus 4 times a times c, divided by 2 times a. So this is also a correct way about going about this. But the mental math might be a little bit harder. 16 times 3 is 48, 96 over 6. This is our final answer. Notice this answer doesn't match up yet because we can simplify the square root of 96. The square root of 96 is 16 times 6, and the square root of 16 is 4. And then here, the 12, the 4, and the 6, everything can be divided by 2. So you would get the same answer with the quadratic formula. Using the quadratic formula, you didn't have to rationalize the denominator, but you still had bigger numbers to work with, and you still had to simplify your radical and write your equation in lowest terms. All right, questions to circle on this one? 11 and 12.
11 and 12 is where you use the circle for the last question.
Oh, then I screwed up on the last one. For question 3, so circle 8. For question 3, it was 8. For this one, 11 and 12. Thank you for noticing.